A former lab director once advised me to always have multiple papers in the pipeline. What he meant was that if I wanted to be productive, I needed to always have several research papers at various stages of completion, submission, and publication. At the time, I didn't pay much attention to this advice, thinking that I needed to put all my energy toward getting one paper published before starting on the next one. Hi, I'm Karen McKee, and I thought today I would talk a bit about how to get more papers out the door. When I was a student, everyone seemed to follow a set workflow. Conduct the study, analyze the data, write the paper, submit for publication, keep fingers crossed, and hope for a positive response. Later, as I began working as a research scientist, this approach seemed to be the way many of my colleagues worked. That is, except for those who were highly productive, publishing several papers per year. And I'm talking about good papers published in peer-reviewed journals. These authors, like my lab director, always had several papers in the pipeline. How did they do it? First of all, they started writing early in each project and continued writing as things progressed. For example, they might begin writing the introduction and methods at the start of a project, and then the results as experiments are completed and the data come in. When they get stuck on one paper, they switch to another paper and work on it for a while, so that at any point in time, there are several papers in preparation, some in submission, and others in revision. Productive authors have a good system for keeping track of manuscript versions and other materials such as figures and tables, journal reviews, and other correspondence. Everything is kept in electronic folders and backed up somewhere. Another important attribute of productive colleagues is that they seek collaborators, which increases the total number of potential papers. This way, the writing burden can be shared with co-authors. For example, 3 researchers might plan for 3 papers from a joint project, but each one takes the lead on one of the papers. The result would be 3 publications for each collaborator, but the writing burden was evenly shared. Productive authors don't procrastinate. They set deadlines for themselves and co-authors for a first draft, for revisions, or to finalize journal submission materials. They also spend time talking to co-authors about the direction of a paper, which helps them stay motivated. Productive authors keep abreast of the literature throughout the process, continually running literature searches on the topic of the paper in preparation. This way, an author can be certain that the information in the paper reflects the most recent literature and be confident in moving forward to submission. They also make use of reference manager software such as EndNote, which saves time in formatting or reformatting references and helps avoid errors in citations. For example, if a paper is rejected, citations can be reformatted for another journal with a single click, avoiding having to edit each entry by hand. Productive authors follow up with co-authors who are tardy in providing their contributions to a manuscript. As lead author, they keep co-authors apprised of progress in writing, submitting, and revising manuscripts. Finally, they don't hesitate to contact editors when they fail to hear from the journal after a reasonable amount of time. Using the pipeline process can help you be more productive. Of course, the number of papers you publish per year will vary over time as your projects wax and wane. The point is to keep things moving through the pipeline and not put off dealing with blockages. Thanks for watching, and please like my video and subscribe if you found this information useful.